Are you a frustrated podcaster that is ready to stop hearing crickets and start making money with your show, even if you have a small audience? If you answered yes, then I want to connect with you for a free podcast profit potential discovery call. In this free 20-minute session, I'll analyze where you're currently leaving money on the table when it comes to monetization opportunities for selling more of your own programs, products, and services. If you are a service provider, a coach, or an online program creator looking to use your podcast to generate more sales, the Podcast Profit Potential Discovery Call is for you. Hop on my calendar today by going to www.podcastingbusiness.school. What's up, Pod Pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you are listening to Podcasting Business School. It's the show where I teach podcasters how to love their podcast like a hobby and build it like a business. We got a podcast audit jam session happening here with my pod pal, Karen from Your Reinvention. Karen is awesome. She's full of energy. We've hung out at podcasting events. We've shared a meal together with my family in our favorite town in the United States of Greenville, South Carolina. Karen, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's funny because it's raining right now. And when you came over spring break, it was raining. So You just seem to make it rain.
I make it rain in Greenville. Let's make it rain in your podcast.
Can we please?
Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's set some intention here. Let's set a goal.
Yeah.
So you and I are having a conversation like this 6 months from now. Things are really going well. Paint that picture for me. What does that look like?
Yes. So I have 3 goals. I hope that's okay. So one of them is to have 500 downloads per episode. So right now I'm averaging about 30. So okay. 100 would be good, but 500 is my goal. I want to be hearing from my listeners more. It's kind of Cricketville right now, and I don't know if there's specific content they want to hear. I've tried to do some polls and things, but I'm creating even what's in the poll. So it's still not really necessarily what they want. It's what I think they want. So okay. I would love to have them emailing me, putting suggestions in my Facebook group, and just guiding a little bit more of the content. And then the third thing is that this actually starts to attract qualified one-on-one coaching clients. So if I could do those 3 things in 6 months, perfect. You've done your job.
Okay. I've done my job. Let's go.
This is all on you.
I've got 27 minutes to do this. Let's go. I feel like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. Like, if you choose to accept, this podcast will self-destruct in 5 seconds. All right. So what is there one glaring thing or one roadblock that you keep running into that feels like it's keeping you from making any of this happen?
Okay. Yes. So I made some notes. I think the short answer is clarity in messaging an ideal client, because I have tackled a lot of the basic stuff that you talk about. So I launched my show September of last year. In January of 2024, I started doing weekly episodes because I wasn't doing that. So I'm like, great, consistency, get in the routine. Yeah. Awesome. Check the box. I'm doing more solo episodes. I just did 6 solos in a row, and I have a guest one coming out this Thursday. I was running Facebook ads, and they were murdering on the click-throughs. No more downloads. So I just turned those off because something isn't translating all the way through. So if I had to pick something, I think part of the problem is my subtitle. So it's tips for high achieving career women. And so then you come to my show, and I'm also talking about things like leaving your job. And I am talking about, like other coaching topics. And people are like, wait, I think they think I'm going to give them like tips for how to grow in their career and stay in corporate. So I think I need to maybe fix the subtitle so it's a little bit more specific.
Yeah. And the first place I want to go is like, can you describe that ideal client? Like, when your ideal home run, I can totally help this person client comes to you. Who are they and what are they trying to accomplish?
Yeah. And I think that's the problem is I have 2 ideal clients that I can serve. So one, which is my ideal favorite thing to do, is take a woman who is in corporate, burnt out, hates her life, and like pluck her right out. And what I do is like help them make an empowered exit. So in 6 months or less, I'm going to show them how to leave their job and go do something that's more fulfilling, whatever that is, starting a business, going to a nonprofit, something else, right? And then the second subset of that are the women who are in corporate. They're not ready to make that exit yet, but they want more balance and support. And so I can help them maybe change jobs to go somewhere they're more valuable, more valued, something like that. But what happens when I'm trying to serve both audiences is it's a cluster, because on one hand, I'm like, oh, I don't want to tell you to leave your job if you're happy in your job. But then I can't talk to my ideal client that wants to leave the job. And then if I'm talking to the person who wants to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, my funnel hasn't been working. The whole 6 secrets to get unstuck, because it's not specific enough. They don't come all the way through and convert. So I'm really at the point where I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to go all in on just being a corporate exit strategist. And everything I do has got to ladder back to making that empowered exit.
Yeah. You just coached yourself. I agree with Coach Karen that that's what you should do. Yeah. Because that's what you seem to love doing. That's your home run. That's the easiest thing. So
Yeah.
I think we just start from there. This is a very similar issue that I was dealing with, a year and a half, 2 years ago, where I had a lot of people tuning in to hear about sponsorships and podcast launch stuff, or like what microphone should I use and stuff like that. And I can serve that, but my ideal client is the podcaster that wants to leverage their show to get more clients and build an online business. So it was scary when I'm like, I need to lean into the coaches and service providers and people that have things that they want to sell, and kind of not really push away the other people, but I don't need to serve that audience directly.
Right.
And when I made that brave choice, I'm like, okay, we're just going to test this out. I can always go back if I need to, but and why would we go back? Because it's like, all right, maybe more downloads, but what are the downloads serving? Like, if they're not becoming your ideal client, then the download is just a download. Who cares? So my downloads went down a little bit, but my client acquisition went way up. And that's really why I'm podcasting. This is my business. So I say we lean into the exiting strategy, and then we go, okay, how do we attract that listener to the show first? We need to look at title, subtitle, like really speaking to that person and just spelling out in plain words. And I would label yourself as like a corporate exit strategist, or a corporate exit, a successful corporate exit coach, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you need to start doing that type, like what we're doing here, and have a corporate exit strategy coaching session that you're doing on your show like this, because there's no better way to really own a niche and paint a picture than doing what we're doing here, where it's like, all right, you want me to think of you as a coach? Let's see what you got. And just going, on camera, on screen with somebody, and going, all right, let's see if I can think on my feet and deliver for you specifically.
Right.
And with your energy and your passion for this space, it's going to come off really well. Like, I really think it's going to be great content. And that's what leads to the client conversion chain that we're looking for. So, you think about it, you go, I got to create content anyway. I'm doing weekly content. So I might as well create content that connects me to a potential client. Like, some of those people will become your clients, and that's always awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But then everybody that listens to these types of episodes will start viewing you as their coach, or even if like people refer to me as their coach, whether they're paying me or not, because they hear me coach all the time. Like, Coach Adam says to do this on his show. And I just got done with the Pod Pals Zoom party, and you've been to those before. And I had like 20 something people on there. And half of them were like, I did this thing because Coach Adam said to do this on his show. I'm like, they've never paid me anything, but they see me as a coach. That's like the way that I position myself on this show is really important. So I think I want you to do more of that. So the solos, the coaching episodes, because there's a real ripe audience for you out there of these people that are having corporate burnout. I think that's a really great term that I would lean into. Exit strategy for your corporate burnout. If you're suffering from corporate burnout, like I'm the corporate burnout exit strategist, or that whole thing, just lean hard into that, stir it up, and like use those words in your, if we switch, I know what your brand is about. So I understand what Your Reinvention is, but people may be thinking about health and weight loss or something. Like there's a lot of different, ways to think about the word reinvention. So if you have a subtitle that's like very specific to exiting corporate or overcoming corporate burnout and exiting successfully or something like that, having those terms in there, so it's like, this is who this show is for.
Right.
I think that's going to help quite a bit. So I'm going to put my brakes. Any thoughts or questions about what we just discussed there?
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely wrote down like coaching sessions. I do have 2 episodes with clients, and I have another client interview that I'm doing coming up, but they've already gone through. So it'll be good because it's a proof point, right? Of like, these are people's lives who I've helped change. But then actually doing some of that coaching and like bringing people in who are thinking about leaving their job in the next 6 months and then being able to offer them some value and turn that into episodes, I think is an awesome idea. It's terrifying, but it's also awesome. So,
Well, I think, you bringing up the word terrifying, that immediately made me think to that person that you're coaching, though, because they are terrified. And the fact that they can come on your show and you can kind of red light, green light them a little bit and go, you know what? You are actually ready for this. And here's the roadmap. I'm going to lay out the first few steps that you need to take to execute. Or maybe you're like, listen, you're not close to being ready for this yet. You're not in a place where this makes sense. And they can have that validation to go down path A or path B from you on the show, which will be valuable to them either way. So I think it's gonna, like I said, I think it's gonna come off really well, where like you are gonna seriously add value to these people. And so I think I'm all in on this, but you want to name it something appropriate, like the word blueprint, strategy session, roadmap, like the successful corporate exit roadmap session or blueprint. But it's either got to be high view or first few steps. You're not going to be able to do the whole thing and just map it all. That's what people pay you for.
Sure.
But you're like, you're at point A, I'm going to get you to point C, and then you got to get to point F to really, score the touchdown here. And so your job with that session isn't to solve all the problems, it's to initiate the solution. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I think the thing for me now is figuring out that subtitle, because I hear what you're saying about Rock Your Reinvention, but part of my issue is, and this doesn't have to be a long-term issue, but it might just be a short-term issue until, if I can fix it with the subtitle, I'd prefer to do that, only because since I've written books and it like literally talks about my show, Rock Your Reinvention, and it's like just in print so many places, it's a lot to unwind and like rip that Band-Aid off. So if I can fix it with the subtitle, which currently it's those tips for high achieving career women. And I specifically call out high achieving because my ideal client is making 6 figures, sometimes up to mid 6 figures, right? Anywhere from like 150 to 400,000 is typically my sweet spot. So tips for high achieving career women who want to leave their 9 to 5 or exit their executive role. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you're on the right track there. Really calling out the high achieving women. But I mean, we want to make sure we highlight the, like how you're going to learn how to successfully exit, even if, I mean, you don't even necessarily have to use the word high achieving, because people could define that in different ways. Like, you know how it is, like imposter syndrome. People are like, I'm not a high achiever. I'm not the right person. But if you go, how to successfully exit a 6-figure corporate career, or like a really like, okay, I'm a 6-figure earner or in the corporate space, like something that like, that is me or that is not me, sort of a thing. That's something that you could kind of clearly define. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
So kind of replacing high achieving with some sort of 6-figure, 7-figure, whatever. And then you can still put it in there, but now there's a definition with it.
Right.
So helping high achieving women successfully exit a 6-figure corporate career, 6-figure per year corporate career, or something like that. Like that. Now we got some meat to the bone there with, because I mean, what are the like keywords or searchable terms you think are just really strong in the space. Like obviously corporate, the word reinvention applies, but anything else pop into mind that like this word would be really handy to have in the title or subtitle?
I think that's been one of my weaknesses is really understanding like what are the keywords. I don't do much with SEO. I'm not really sure even when I name my episodes or when I write the examples. I know I'm supposed to put some keywords in, but a lot of times I'm just like, I don't really
Yeah.
know.
Do you help them start their own business and become entrepreneurs, or is
I
it just?
can.
I mean, do you feel like?
It's part of what I do for some of them,
Yeah,
right? But a lot of them have decided to go to nonprofits or they maybe go get a different business coach or they just do it on their own or they retire or they just be a stay-at-home mom. They decide they don't even want to do this work thing anymore. So it runs the gamut, but I wouldn't mind helping them, right? And that could almost be like a subset offer. It's like,
yeah,
okay, you come through Empowered Exit. I'm going to use my signature coaching method, my edit methodology to help you through that to make your exit from corporate. And then, hey, we get done with our 6 months coaching. And it's like, hey, if you want me now to help you map out your business, then I can help you with that.
yeah. Well, even if you just have people exiting into entrepreneurship, like words like entrepreneurship, small business owner, the word
Mm-hmm.
business, those are all great keywords or search terms to use. So
Okay.
if that fits, that's a yes. Those are great ones
Yeah.
because those are bigger pools. Like the word entrepreneurship, those are bigger
Right.
pools to fish in. But that's not a bad thing when it comes to search because now they search entrepreneurship and your show is in there and it's kind of unique. Like, oh, this is for people exiting corporate, wanting to get into entrepreneurship. That sounds like it's for me. That sounds like my situation. So
Yeah, that might even, I don't know, that could even be like, I know you are a fan of long titles. I mean, that could even be a piece of the subtitle, like who want to exit their corporate career and get into entrepreneurship.
yeah,
Because what I think that would be really helpful to like tap into that market because so many women start their business as a side hustle. And then they're in corporate because they don't want to let go. They have a lot of attachment to their paycheck and they give all their value and worth to their title and all that. So it's a hard transition for them, like a lot of mindset work that I have to do to help them get there.
yeah. Side hustle is another great searchable
Yeah.
term. So I
Okay.
think those entrepreneurship, small business, side hustle,
Boss babe.
those boss babe. God.
I had to say it.
Hashtag boss babe. Um, shout out to all the hashtag boss babes out there. But like those are words that for sure work
Yeah.
for searchability, for that organic discoverability. So, if you were like Adam, you take the reins. What's the name of my show? To optimize for everything. We're getting to some length of it's getting wordy. And my solution to that is get rid of Rock Your Reinvention, which I know that's a tough band-aid,
Hmm.
but the first word of your title carries a lot of discoverability weight. The very first word.
Okay.
Mine is podcasting. That's why I show
Yeah.
up very strong for podcasting. So the word rock is the first word. Rock your reinvention. People might be searching reinvention, but I feel like it's probably they're more likely to be searching side hustle, entrepreneurship, small business, corporate exit, things like
Yeah.
that. So if you were like corporate exit strategies for, uh, you know, or something around corporate exit strategies or tips to develop, to become an entrepreneur, develop a side hustle or small business, like that's a little less wordy, but that could be just a long title extension too. So
Right.
you could start there. And I'm getting ready to record an episode where I'm like, I want to really unpack what you're dealing with like it's in my book and all this stuff. Because I hear that a lot. People are like, I can't get rid of the name of my show because I mentioned it in my book. It's my Instagram handle. It's my website. I've got a Netflix special on there, whatever. Like that probably doesn't apply. But
Yeah.
people feel that weight a little bit, right?
Right.
And I'm like, well, how is that helping you right now with your show, just
Right.
from a show perspective?
Yeah.
So if we don't have a whole lot of people get in the book and be like, got to jam out on this show, then it probably doesn't mean a whole lot, and it could in the future or whatever. And if you have, with your podcast host description, you could have like the first line, formerly known as the Your Reinvention podcast, and you'll still pull up as that if people search that. And then this is a situation where like we probably want to make sure we have your image, your picture on there, so people, oh, that's Karen, that's my girl Karen, she's right there. That's something, so it can still pull up. So those are all things that could happen. But like the name of your podcast is it's not just like some throwaway thing. It's so important. And I would love to see your ideal clients just organically finding you. They see the name and they're like, oh my God, this is the show I've been waiting for. And Karen is the coach I've been waiting for. And they consume your content and just binge on it. And it primes them to buy your stuff when they are ready to do that. And I think I see a direct through line of people discovering your show, binge listening, going, ooh, I'm in this category. I need to do one of these coaching sessions, do a coaching session. This was great. What's the next step, coach? How do I pay you? I see that very clearly. So
I have a question, because this is good and it's kind of getting me to think. If I wanted to test maybe like a limited series podcast where I went like all in on the corporate exit strategy thing, and I came up with like a totally separate name that could ultimately become this show, like, is that advisable? Or like, how would that work?
I think what I would do is just start with the coaching episode on your current show.
Okay.
I would go, if you're nervous about the complete Band-Aid ripoff, let's do a title extension.
Okay.
Let's update your host description with all those words that we talked about.
Yeah.
Side hustle, entrepreneurship, business, small business, start a business, all that stuff, because that's really, that may not be what you coach, but that's what they're dreaming of. And they need you to get there, because you are the bridge from corporate to this dream that they've got.
Sure.
And even if you never have entrepreneurship coaching or small business, online business coaching, and I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm like, let's say it's not your jam, you could have a ripping affiliate business for that. Like, imagine you just priming these people. Okay, they're ready. And now you know kind of what they're all about and who they need. And you make that referral, and then you're getting paid for, you don't even have to do anything on that next step. So that could happen as well. But I think let's do title extension. Let's optimize the host description with those types of keywords. I think like even in your episodes, like the, titles like the next step to successfully exit corporate and start your small business, or like, and start painting those pictures of the steps that they need to take. And that's going to come through in the coaching style episodes as well. So, and then I would really lean into this with the coaching episodes and just see the response there. And that will build up confidence. If you're like, wow, I just got people come out in droves for these things, then you're like, well, maybe I do need to just shift the whole name over, if that makes sense. And so I think instead of starting a whole new podcast feed, I would do this other one first. Since you've got listeners, you've got a brand built with that, and we can kind of just use that as the test, because it's good. It's going to be really good content anyway, regardless. And that's just the bottom line. Anything that we do, that's the first principle. Is this serving my audience well? If we can check that box, then it's worth a try.
Okay. Cool.
Makes sense. Now, as another thing that I think, since you've already had a few of your clients on, I'd be grabbing audio testimonials from your clients and slapping them into every single coaching episode that you do. I mean, I would put them in every episode like I do, but if you do a coaching style episode, that's a unique opportunity where if I would really try to set the stage and priming the audience, you do a coaching style episode, you're like, all right, this person is going to hear me coaching. They listen to the whole thing. There's a chance, like, I got a shot with this person for becoming my client. They're viewing me as a coach now. In the intro, I would put a testimonial from a client in there, a satisfied customer, just to kind of prime them. Then call to action wise, I'd be pushing to a discovery call in the intro and the outro. So it's like testimonial, intro, mention a discovery call, episode, show off coaching, outro, reminder, discovery call. and just make that your little formula for that type
Okay.
of an episode. And I think that recipe will serve you really well. And even if you have like a normal canned musical intro and outro, whatever, just the pattern disrupt of doing something different will make people listen to that and go, okay, this is something different. And it's not the
Right.
normal, Rocky Reinvention Jam jingle at the beginning or whatever. And it's just a different pattern. And that people will actually pump the brakes and listen to it because they're afraid of missing out. Maybe Karen's going to say something I need to hear about. So this is different. I can hit the 15-second skip button, and we got to see what she's got to say. So does that make sense?
Yes, very much so. This is good. I'm excited.
Good. And I think you're going to enjoy this type of content. It's going to lead to clients. It's going to lead to more, which leads to more testimonials. There's nothing better to be able to go, okay, they came on my show. They became a client. We rocked the reinvention. We exited corporate. Here's their audio testimonial. Who's next? Who wants to? And the more of these you put out there, the more social proof you have of how awesome these episodes are. I think it's going to go over really well. Now, one thing that I just thought of is, do you think these people will be nervous about having their name out there because they may be exiting corporate?
Okay, potentially.
I don't know why balloon just popped up on my screen. They random.
You're the winner.
I have no idea. Isn't that weird? On Zoom and StreamYard, random things happen on the screen, and I don't know why they happen. So, but balloons just flew up. It was awesome. So, maybe a first name only thing, and maybe not a let's tag them on LinkedIn or Instagram sort of a thing. Outside of that, I feel like you're giving coaching here, and a lot of these people, the writing may be on the wall, and I think that it's not like you're doing like marital abuse therapy or something like that, where people like we got to be really sensitive in those situations and be like no video, no nothing. But I think people may.
And I haven't really done video, so my show has been completely audio only.
So you're good.
So like, they won't see them, and we can even just pick like a fake name or something for them if they want. You know?
And you should make up like a cool like code name, like Huggy Bear or something like that, and something that makes you like almost laugh every time you say it, and as a personal challenge to you.
Thank you. I'll work on that.
We're here with Ron Burgundy, and he's going to exit his corporate career. So anyway,
I only coach women. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, only women. Now, that's something else in your subtitle. We want to make sure we call that out as well. So
good call.
Now we've got the perfect recipe. Let's shout out if maybe somebody out there. I imagine somebody listening would fit the bill for this. So if they want to reach out and get a hold of you, where do they go, and where can they go to like support your brand and your show?
Yeah, for sure. So you can always email me, Karin, Karin, at KarenFreeland.com. And then you can find me on Instagram at Karen Freeland, LinkedIn at Karen Freeland, Facebook at Karen Freeland Life Coaching. So yeah, all the places.
All right. Go connect with Karen Freeland, and she will help you out. All right, Pod Pals, if you want to join me for a podcast audit session, just like my pod pal Karen here, just head on over to the website, www.podcastingbusiness.school, podcastingbusiness.school. Click on the freebie button. It's one of the 3 buttons on my website, and click on that freebie, and you can sign up and get on my calendar. Would love to have you on. All right, Pod Pals, appreciate you, and appreciate you, Karen, for joining me here. And with that, I'm going to send you out into the world, wishing you health, happiness, and many downloads. We will see you next time. Attention all coaches, service providers, and online program creators. You are probably leaving money on the table when it comes to your podcasting business, and I'm going to help you uncover those missed opportunities. Get signed up for a free podcast profit potential discovery call today by going to www.podcastingbusiness.school. That's podcastingbusiness.school.